Did you know that 75% of people fear public speaking more than death? That's right, most people would rather face a coffin than stand in front of a crowd. Yet, speaking well is one of the most powerful skills you can have, especially if you want to lead. Whether you're talking to a small group or a large audience, how you communicate can make or break your leadership. Great leaders aren't born with perfect speaking skills. They develop them. And today, we're going to dive into the strategies that will help you speak so well that others will follow. In this video, you'll learn how to use your voice to captivate your listeners, master body language that screams confidence, and tell stories that inspire action. We'll also explore how listening and empathy can transform your leadership approach. These are not the typical tips you've heard before, these are the strategies that separate good speakers from great ones. So, if you're ready to turn your communication into a tool that others want to follow, stay tuned. You'll discover how simple shifts can make you a leader people can't resist. Chapter 1: Command the room with your voice. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have as a speaker. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. According to a study by UCLA, 93% of communication is non-verbal, with 38% attributed to tone of voice and 55% to body language. That means the way you use your voice is key to making your message resonate. When speaking, vary your tone to avoid sounding monotone. A simple change in pitch can make all the difference in keeping your audience engaged. Speed is just as important. Speaking too quickly can make you sound rushed, while speaking too slowly can make you appear unsure. Aim for a pace that matches the energy of your message. In a study by Harvard Business Review, leaders who spoke at a moderate pace were perceived as more competent and trustworthy. Don't forget about pauses. Silence is a speaker's best friend. Pausing for just a second or two after a key point gives your audience time to absorb and reflect. Dr. Robert Cialdini, author of Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, highlights that pauses can trigger curiosity and anticipation. Also, play with volume. Speaking loudly when necessary conveys authority, while speaking softly can draw listeners in and make them lean forward. The right volume can instantly shift the dynamic in the room. Experiment with this in your next presentation and notice how it influences the energy of your audience. Finally, breathe deeply. Stress often leads to shallow breathing, which affects your voice quality. By consciously breathing deeply, you project confidence, control, and calmness, no matter the situation. Chapter 2: The Power of Presence. Speak with authority. Being a leader isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you stand. Studies have shown that body language can have a major impact on how others perceive you. Amy Cuddy, author of Presence, discovered that people who adopt power poses, like standing tall with your hands on your hips, are perceived as more confident and competent. So, if you want to appear like a leader, start by practicing strong, open body language. Your posture matters more than you think. Slouching can give off the impression of uncertainty or weakness, while standing tall with your shoulders back conveys confidence. Research shows that people are more likely to follow those who seem self-assured, not only in words but in their physical presence. Eye contact is another powerful tool in your leadership communication. In a study by the University of Missouri, speakers who made strong eye contact were seen as more persuasive and trustworthy. When you maintain eye contact, you show that you're engaged and ready to connect. However, too much can be overwhelming, so find a comfortable balance. One mistake many speakers make is pacing excessively. Walking around the room can seem engaging, but it may also distract from your message. Instead, use purposeful movement. Moving towards someone during an important point can make your message feel more personal and impactful. Lastly, remember to smile. It's simple, but it works. Smiling projects warmth and approachability. People tend to follow leaders they feel comfortable with, and a genuine smile can go a long way in establishing the connection. Chapter 3: Storytelling that moves people to action. Humans are wired for stories. From an evolutionary perspective, storytelling helped our ancestors learn, bond, and make decisions. Today, stories are just as powerful. They captivate attention and inspire action. Studies have shown that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story than a fact alone. This means that if you want to be a leader others will follow, you need to become a master storyteller. Start with a strong opening. Don't waste your first few moments. Hook your audience with a question, an intriguing fact, or a compelling visual. Once you've got their attention, use the story to build your narrative. People are more likely to connect emotionally with a story that has a relatable protagonist, a clear challenge, and a satisfying resolution. One method of storytelling that works well in leadership is the hero's journey, made famous by Joseph Campbell. This storytelling structure is easy to follow and deeply resonates with people. You, as the speaker, can position your audience as the hero, facing challenges but ultimately overcoming them with your guidance. The key to storytelling is authenticity. Share stories from your own experience. People can tell when you're being real with them, and they will respond with greater trust and respect. Leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being genuine. Another secret is to keep it simple. You don't need long, complex stories to make an impact. A story can be as simple as an anecdote or a brief example that highlights your point. Research by psychologist Jerome Bruner has shown that we are more likely to remember information presented in story form than facts or figures alone. Finally, end your story with a call to action. Inspire your listeners to take the next step, whether it's following your lead, embracing your vision, or acting on a particular idea. A powerful ending reinforces your message and propels people into action. If you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can continue learning how to speak with impact and lead with authority. Chapter 4: Active Listening. The secret to authentic leadership. Effective leadership is not just about speaking, it's about listening. In fact, research by the Center for Creative Leadership found that active listening is one of the most important skills for effective leadership. But what does it mean to listen actively? It's not simply hearing words, it's fully engaging with what the other person is saying. Active listening requires you to be present in the moment, both physically and mentally. Studies show that we retain only about 25–50% of what we hear. To boost retention, focus on what's being said without distractions. That means putting your phone away, making eye contact, and giving the speaker your full attention. Reflecting on what's being said is another powerful listening tool. If someone says something important, repeat it back to them in your own words. This shows you've understood and makes the other person feel heard. This technique, known as paraphrasing, is key to building trust. You should also ask questions to dive deeper into what's being discussed. This not only shows you're listening but also encourages further conversation. As leadership expert Stephen Covey writes in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listening is also about reading between the lines. Non-verbal cues like tone, body language, and facial expressions often reveal more than words themselves. According to a study by Albert Mehrabian, 55% of communication comes from body language, while 38% comes from tone of voice. This means you should tune into these signals to fully grasp what someone is trying to communicate. Being an active listener also means giving feedback. Leaders who provide thoughtful, constructive feedback are more likely to foster a culture of trust and respect. So, when you respond, focus on positive reinforcement and clear guidance. This helps keep conversations productive and ensures your team feels valued. Chapter 5: Mastering the Art of Persuasion Without Manipulation. In leadership, persuasion is key to driving change. But there's a fine line between persuading and manipulating. Effective leaders know how to influence others in a way that's ethical, transparent, and respectful. Dr. Robert Cialdini, author of Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, identifies 6 principles of persuasion: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. Understanding and applying these principles can make you a powerful, yet ethical, persuader. One of the most important principles is reciprocity. People are more likely to do something for you if you've done something for them first. This doesn't mean using favors as leverage, it means creating an environment of mutual respect and collaboration. A study by the Harvard Business Review showed that giving small, genuine acts of kindness increases the likelihood of receiving help in return. Commitment and consistency also play a big role in persuasion. People like to stay consistent with what they've already said or done. This is why leaders often encourage small commitments early on. For example, getting someone to agree to a small task or a minor decision can make them more likely to agree to bigger tasks down the line. Social proof is another powerful principle. When others are doing something, people are more likely to follow. This is why testimonials, success stories, or visible actions from peers can be powerful motivators. Social proof taps into the natural human desire to fit in and be part of a group. Leaders who demonstrate authority are also more persuasive. This doesn't mean acting superior, but rather showing competence and expertise. When you speak from a place of knowledge and experience, others are more likely to trust your guidance. As the saying goes, people follow those who know where they're going. Finally, the principle of liking suggests that people are more likely to be persuaded by those they like. Building rapport, showing empathy, and being genuinely kind can enhance your persuasive power. Remember, people don't follow leaders they don't trust or like. Chapter 6: Building connection through empathy. Leading with heart. Leadership isn't just about strategy and goals, it's about people. If you want to lead in a way that inspires others, you must learn how to connect with them on an emotional level. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, and it's a cornerstone of effective leadership. Research by the Center for Creative Leadership found that leaders who demonstrate empathy are more likely to build high-performing teams. Empathetic leaders are seen as approachable and trustworthy, qualities that are crucial for inspiring loyalty and respect. One way to show empathy is by being a good listener. It's not just about hearing words but truly understanding the emotions behind them. When you listen attentively and acknowledge people's feelings, you let them know that their perspectives matter. This creates an emotional bond that goes beyond surface-level interactions. Empathy also means recognizing and addressing the needs of others. A leader who is attuned to the struggles and desires of their team can provide better support and guidance. Studies show that employees who feel understood are more engaged and motivated to contribute. Another key aspect of empathy is being vulnerable. Sharing your own experiences and struggles makes you more relatable and humanizes you as a leader. This can be a powerful way to build trust and rapport with others. As Brené Brown, author of Daring Greatly, says, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Showing empathy also means offering support when things go wrong. Leaders who show compassion in tough times create a culture of resilience. People are more likely to follow and stay loyal to leaders who support them through challenges rather than those who ignore their struggles. Lastly, leading with empathy involves being patient and understanding. Not everyone moves at the same pace, and not everyone processes information in the same way. Leaders who are empathetic take the time to adjust their approach based on the unique needs of the people they lead. Empathy is a tool that builds bridges. It opens the door to trust, connection, and cooperation. When people feel emotionally supported and understood, they're more likely to be inspired by your leadership and follow your vision. By practicing active listening, ethical persuasion, and leading with empathy, you can transform your leadership style. These strategies not only make you a more effective speaker but also create deeper, more meaningful connections with those around you. With these tools, you'll be able to speak in a way that motivates others to follow you and take action. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to get more tips on how to be a leader that others can't resist following.